Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. I have my lovely guest, Miss Zakiya Mabery. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Kim. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm excited about you being here. And you don't have a clue how excited I am that it all worked out. Sometimes when you're doing a show and trying to make sure all of your guests are lined up, there's some things that slip through the cracks. So I'm so honored to have you physically in front of me today.
Thank you.
Listen, everybody, as you all come into the studio audience, make sure you grab your seats. Share this broadcast with your family, your friends, your coworkers. Let everybody know that the Kim Jacobs Show is here on the air. And you know the routine. When you come in, go to the microphone. You actually don't even have to walk anywhere. Just grab your virtual seat. The microphone, if you get a visual, the microphone is sitting right there. It's attached to your chair and the desk, okay? So I have a visual of my studio. Then all you're going to do is just lean the mic towards you and start talking. So you don't even have to walk to the mic. This is state of the art, 21st century virtual studio audience kind of stuff, okay? So go ahead and grab your mics. Start typing your comments. If you want to be brought into the studio, Morgan will type how you can do that, and we'll bring you right in face to face with Zakiya if you'd like to talk to her directly. But we are going to get started with today's episode. Let me do my kickoff music. I'm so excited because Shayla Faulkner did my theme song. And it's just a quick intro. I told her something about 20 seconds or less. But the reason I'm introducing the theme song is because she took the time to do this for me. And it sounds like something I personally love. And hey, it gives you a little flavor about the Kim Jacobs Show. So let's go ahead and kick this off right quick. See if you can hear it. Woo! I love it. Thank
Nice.
you, Shayla. Isn't that nice?
It is. It is.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, so everybody, today we are, let me see what Morgan's comment is here before I. Okay, cool. Okay, so today, everyone, we have on today's show the CEO, Zakiya Mabery. She is the CEO of B Global Diversity and Inclusion Strategic Planning. She's also military family over there, and she's going to be talking more about that. She is a triple threat in today's society as a woman of color with multiple disabilities. And you are going to be in for a treat as you hear my guest today and her journey, Zakiya Mabery. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored and humbled to be on your show, Kim. And when I talk about a triple threat, people are like, what does that mean? A triple diversity threat. So that's very subjective when you say that.
Right.
When I talk about my beginning of when I start facing adversity was actually in well, it was before high school, but that's the journey where I want to start talking about it.
Okay.
Is I had an IEP in high school, individual education plan, and I knew that I wanted to go to college. And I had a high school teacher, and my guidance counselor said, well, student like you, wouldn't you want to go to trade school or something like that? I don't think college is in your future. And so that was very disheartening, hurtful. And I had to have my parents help be an advocate for me because at that time I didn't really have necessarily the tools to advocate for myself.
Okay.
So fast forward a bit, I did go to college. I went to Virginia State and I did obtain my bachelor's degree. I attained my master's degree. But having a label, I like to talk about labels when I'm in the workplace to employees and to employers. Putting labels on individuals can be very damaging to individuals. And because I had a learning disability, educators told me I couldn't do something. When people tell me I can't do something, you know what it does for Zakiya? It makes me want to pursue it harder.
That's I like exactly that you're talking in third person over there. Do you know what it does for Kim Jacobs? It makes me want to go harder.
Yes.
I love it.
And that's what it does. And so in the workplace, I say the triple threat. I am a woman. This is going into when I talk about in my new book. I talk about intersectionality, which is very important. I identify as being a woman. Obviously, I'm a woman of color. I'm Black, and I do have multiple disabilities. I have a learning disability. I have mental disabilities. I have PTSD, anxiety disorder, and major depression. And then I also now have a physical disability. I had reconstructive surgery on my foot in 2008, which I'm still not healed from. I had 7 procedures at one time. And so I walk with a walking cane a lot of the times. So I have a lot of things going on, fibromyalgia, autoimmune disorder. And so I like to go into the workplace and talk about inclusive leadership. And so we're going to talk about what that looks like. So I love the topic of this.
I can tell you already, like, Zakiya, you funny. You like, look, I got my own. You kind of reminded me of my father over there. Right? I'll tell you right now that my dad, I had him come on the show, and all I got to say is, welcome to the, and he was like, yes, I was like, wait, Dad, I didn't get to say, Zakiya, I didn't get to say another word for the entire 1 hour show.
Sounds like my dad.
Hello, this is the Kim Jacob show, right? So over there, you kind of reminded me of my dad a little bit because you already ready. I can tell, right? But let me ask a couple of questions if I
can. Let me pass you back the mic.
So much, Zakiya. So what happens is, though, there are so many parents and families that are watching today's episode. Mm-hmm. And since I focus a lot on how people balance different aspects of their lives, and you revealed like 7 type of disabilities that are impacting your life, and even some of the ones that impacted you when you were younger, the IEP, different things like that. What advice would you give to parents? And I don't know what questions to ask until we go live like this, because I didn't know you were going to say that. So what advice would you give to parents that are dealing with children that are being labeled in the school systems?
I would advise the parents to encourage your children to be their authentic self, to learn, to teach your children. They have to learn from being, the parents have to pass the wand of being their advocate. They have to learn how to start advocating for themselves, because mommy and daddy, they're going to be around, but they have to learn how to advocate for themselves, because then when they go off to college or the military or whatever it is that they plan on doing in life, they have to be the advocates for themselves in the workplace, when they're dealing with reasonable accommodations, when they're dealing with their managers and leaders, their colleagues, when they're dealing with housing issues, healthcare, things of that nature. They have to utilize their authentic voice and learn how to speak up for themselves. So I advise them to work on those soft skills. The technical skills, a lot of parents, they get that they have to teach them or set them up for success when it comes to the technical skills. But I think a lot of times we're missing the mark when it comes to the soft skills.
That's good advice, because there are so many, sometimes even children when they're in school attempting to advocate for themselves, because I've witnessed this in different instances with my friends and family and coworkers, and they're like, my child attempted to advocate for themselves, but then because of the label that's been placed on them, they're considered a problem. So how are you considering this child, whatever the child is, whoever the child is, to be a problem when they're trying to say, no, you're misunderstanding. In this one instance, I'm really not having an IEP issue or whatever.
Right.
I'm actually saying that this incident happened and I need you to step in on my behalf as the teacher,
Right. I totally understand what you're saying. And then also you're going to have to find people who think like you. For example, on the news, we're seeing this story. I forgot what city it is, but the young lady, I believe she's 15 years old. She has a learning disability. She has ADHD, and she refused to do her homework. And she's in jail now. So now we have all these people banding together to try to get her out of jail. So now it has the attention of media. It has all these attention of all these celebrities. But before it got to that point, we should have had people on her side trying to help her, social workers, to step in to try to help with the problem before it elevated to that level. So I would advise the parents in that situation to, before it reaches that type of level, to try to find assistance for your child. And the children, if you're listening to this news feed, if you don't think your parents are able to help, go to the guidance counselor, call 211, because in every city there are free resources out there if you call 211.
Call 211 for resource. Okay, can you type that for me, Morgan, too? That's excellent. Okay, so now, CEO Zakiya, you can carry on with what you plan to say over there, because you're getting ready to share some profound information, and I want to make sure that people hear what you're getting ready to share.
Well, I was just going to share that I love the topic for this conversation that we're having, called How to Impact Change. Because when we talk about change on today, the day that Congressman John Lewis is being funeralized, I think that that is just a wonderful way for us to have this conversation, and it just has significant impact that we're having this conversation today, because change can happen at any level.
That's right.
It can happen at the elementary school level. We see so many young people stepping up to do things because of what's happening with the economical crisis, with the COVID-19, because of the racial unjust. I don't think anyone should count someone out because of their age, their race, their sexual orientation. But if you're going to be an inclusive leader, you should be able to accept people from, it doesn't matter what their background is. And I just wanted to take a moment to read an excerpt from the essay that Mr. Lewis had, that he wanted to be published on today, the day of his funeral.
Yeah.
Though I may not be with you, I urge you to answer the highest calling of your heart and to stand up for what you truly believe. In my life, I have done all I can to demonstrate the way of peace, the way of love, and nonviolence. It is the more excellent way. Now is your turn to let freedom ring. When historians pick up their pens to write the story of the 21st century, let them say it was your generation who laid down the heavy burdens of hate at last, and that peace finally trumped over violence, aggression, and war. So I say to you, walk the wind, brothers and sisters, and let the spirit of peace and the power of everlasting love be your guide. And I just think that it was important that I just read an excerpt from his essay that is being
read. I had that on mine today too. I was reading that.
Yes.
My family sent that in our family group chat.
Yeah.
That's such a profound statement that we continue to, whether in him saying, though I may not be here with you, he's begging us. Those were such profound final words to say, I'm urging you.
Yes.
The highest call, to answer the highest calling of your heart and stand up for what you truly believe.
Right.
He's done everything that he could do, and he's glory. But he's urging for this man to leave these last words to us. It's like, now it is our turn to let him bring.
Right.
So I'm so inspired by the words that he shared. It's like, I have to make sure that my show is voice to bring and to let change come about from a balanced perspective, a life alteration perspective, change management perspective, whatever it takes.
Yes.
That's why I want Zakiya and people like you on this show.
Right.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, Kim. And see, that's your why. And what I would throw out there to your viewers and your listeners who are just listening to this, what is your why? What is the reason why you're doing your podcast? What is the reason why you took on whatever position that you're doing in your organization, whether it's for work, whether it's for fraternity, sorority, a nonprofit in your church, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts? Is it is it just to be known? Is it because you actually want some work to be done? Is it to change laws? What is your why? Why are you doing it? What type of impact are you trying to make? What is your legacy that you're trying to leave? These are all profound questions, but seriously, take a moment and think of it. And of all days, what other better day to do it than on today, to think about what is your why?
Right. I love that. And that's a good call to action for everyone that's watching today with the eulogy and the life and legacy of Representative John Lewis taking place today. It's definitely a good time for us to put pen to the paper, or even if you
Mhm.
write it on your electronic devices, but really capture your why. And why are you on this earth? What is your purpose?
Right.
What is your dream? What is your goal? What difference are you going to make in society? What are you going to be known for with that dash that's in between?
Yes.
Like, we have our
Yeah.
birthday, we have our death date,
Yes.
and Les Brown talks often about the dash that we're going to be
Mhm.
for. Representative John Lewis made a difference with his dash,
Oh, absolutely.
huge difference. So what's your difference going to be? And so Morgan, thank you so much. I'm going to put this right up here. If you see me looking over some, Zakiya, it's just that I'm grabbing these comments that Morgan is typing that you're sharing actually. So what is your why is what Zakiya said. So from your background, what makes you feel like you're an expert at overcoming adversity?
I'm an expert at overcoming adversity because of what I went through in high school, trying to find my voice in college, and overcoming sexual trauma, discrimination in the workplace, and toxic work environments as I pursued my dreams as an adult. So I've overcome a lot of adversity, and part of my why is I am very passionate about assisting leaders, middle managers, and employees have a more healthy work life balance and a healthy organization culture. A
Mm,
lot of people, when they talk about diversity and inclusion, they think it's when you first start talking about it, they think the diversity is the most important.
mhm.
But I would offer to you, it's more about the inclusion, because the inclusion is where everyone is feeling value and they can
Right.
be their authentic self in the workplace. To me, the diversity is just having diverse people in the workplace. Okay, we have some oranges, we have some apples, we have some bananas, it's just a mixture. But
Right.
the inclusion part is the hardest part. Because that's where you want everyone to feel like they actually, they can be their selves. You hear me talk about all the time the authentic self,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
didn't feel like I could be my authentic self. I worked for the Department of Defense for a long time, and then I worked for 2 Fortune 500 companies, and I felt like I had to assimilate. I didn't wear my hair natural in those places. I wore it straight. I wore my pearls and my French manicure, because I wanted to be able to make sure I had the boxes checked when I was being looked at for promotions and things of that nature. And I didn't feel like, I already felt like, okay, I know I'm a little different. I think different. I talk louder. I'm a bigger girl, and I just wanted to make sure I can try to fit in as much as possible.
That's interesting that you're saying that. I know I'm interrupting for a second, but because there are people that I've watched in a corporate, I worked in Fortune 500 companies. And I mean, like you're saying, checking those boxes to make sure that you do certain things and be very, very robotic in nature to make sure that
Mhm.
you do not. I do notice that, and this is just my personal experience. I can't talk
Mhm.
about every company and worldwide or anything, but I do feel like, based on some people that I knew working within a corporate setting, that they started off with, like, I'll give you one example. One gentleman, he started off with his hair shaved, but then
Mhm.
over the course of the years, he was a top performer doing great, but he
Mhm.
wanted to start growing dreads. And so he started
Mhm.
growing some locks. And literally, I mean, literally within like a week after he took that beanie thing off of his head, that was not what was accepted at
See,
all. Not
Yep.
at all. And
Mhm.
I'm not naming any
Of
companies or
course.
anything like
Right.
that, and
Mhm.
definitely not trying to taint Fortune 500, because that's a
Right.
great
Right.
opportunity for
Right.
people to soar and excel
Mhm.
in their way.
Mhm.
But I just watch certain situations
Yeah.
like that happen, and I'm like, and I was like, you don't want to do, you don't want
Yep.
to.
Mhm.
But why should a person have to
Assimilate.
assimilate from their culture to
Mhm.
now be able to be a great top performer within a company? He
Mhm.
was still a top performer. He just had
Right.
dreads, you know?
Mhm. I've seen it too.
Oh,
It's
oh,
very unfortunate, Kim. Mm. I think we're frozen. We'll be right back.
Okay, we are back. Hope you enjoyed the commercial break. Okay, hello everybody. I was not about to start over completely because then you all would miss out, and all of you already tuned in here. So you are definitely a devoted audience. Thank you so much, Zakiya, for coming back in. Morgan popped right back in. Everybody's right on point. I love it.
Yes.
Okay, so how do we, Zakiya, get rid of the stigma that's happening in society regarding diversity and disabilities and things of that nature?
That's a very good question, Kim. I think it starts with education.
Mhm.
We have to really educate individuals about what it is, and it starts with having education campaigns, but essentially
Good.
about what is, let's say, as far as disability and mental illness, what is it, and have it frequently, because there's a lot of when people say ignorance, that just really means lack of knowledge. I don't know why people get so offended by the word ignorant, but
Right.
ignorant
Yeah, I'm
really,
ignorant to a lot of things.
oh,
So,
I am too. So there's a lot of ignorance when it comes, especially mental illness. So we need to have a lot more discussions. And one of my favorite things is to say we need to get comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations, because that's where a lot of change happens, is in right there, the moment we're starting to have those uncomfortable conversations. And that's even when it's talking about, you said diversity, race, when we're talking about race and systemic racism and things of that nature. That's where we also can come to an understanding. We may not agree, but at least we can have an understanding about some things. Even if we're talking about the statues being removed, we can have an understanding from the other person's perspective. When we're talking about religion, things, just as long as we can get to a point where we can sit down and hear the other person's point of view. So those two things, education and uncomfortable conversation. So that's communicate. I have a 5-step framework that I like to talk about. And the first one is communicate. So that's one that I've already mentioned. And then also have empathy. You have to be able to at least understand what the other person is going through or may have went through. So to have empathy for the other person and be able to empower other people, like you're doing. You're empowering other people when you have people on your platform to talk about their story, whatever their story is, their background. That's empowering other people, and you're listening. You're an awesome listener, because I've watched a lot of your podcasts, and you listen, you talk, but then you also listen and you ask great follow-up questions. But as I've worked for almost 20 years, I've worked for a lot of people. I've worked a lot of different places for different agencies. I even worked overseas. And I can tell you, that's the thing. I worked in EEO where people file complaints. And the one thing that reason why I can tell you people have come in my office is about complaints. It's about communication and lack of listening. People do not listen very well. They talk a whole lot, but they don't listen.
So you said, I'm taking notes. Sometimes I take notes over here too. So you said number one is communication.
Yes, communication.
Number two is empathy.
Number two is empathy.
Maybe type this, Morgan, too, for me. Number one is communication. Number two is empathy. Okay.
Number three is empower.
Empower.
And that encompasses listening and asking questions like you're doing right now. And the next one is being a visionary, but that's called innovation. So the number 4 is being innovative, having a vision, the foresight to see what the end state can be. I'm very innovative. I'm very creative, but the little details, that's where my trouble lies. And I have an awesome virtual assistant, Pondi. She helps me a lot, and so does Andrew, because that's where I have the issues.
Well, let's talk for a minute, talk about listening, right? And y'all, just so you know, backstage, right? Before we came on, I was having a conversation with them and I was repeating something to him and I was saying it wrong. And he was like, all I could hear was his voice, no. I was like, I said, oh, yes, sir. You're not going to mess my woman's stuff up. No. So, it was so funny, though, because he has your best interest at heart over there.
Yes, he does. He's very loving.
He's like, there's no way you listen here, Kim Jacob. So, hey, back there, Andy, I know you're back there being a big cheerleader for Zakiya. I'm so glad to technically have you on the show today. Okay, so you said number 1 is communication. Number 2 is empathy. Number 3 is to empower. Number 4 is be innovative. Number 5.
Number 5, you have to motivate. You have to motivate your people. You have to be able to encourage them and say, yes, you can do this. Yes, I can see you doing this. You can do that. You have to be able to be their cheerleader. You got this. You have to be able to motivate them. And you know what all these 5 things equal? An inclusive leader. That is what all these things do. That's my 5. This is my framework to saying this is what an inclusive leader is. And that's the secret ingredient right there, is all these steps is what you need to be an inclusive leader. And anybody can have this in them. And I would say that if you have someone who does not like you to ask them questions, or they get upset when you challenge them in a good way, but like, well, why are you doing this before that? I would say that's an unsafe person. That's someone that you might want to consider your relationship. I know that bureaucratic relationships, like in the government, is status quo. You ask them, why are we doing it this way? And they'll say, oh, that's because we've always done it that way. Okay. Is it saving money? Is it saving time? Because that's the way we always done it. Okay.
Well, that's not good enough. So can somebody elaborate?
Yes.
And it's like, you are a labeled problem here now because you're asking too many questions.
Basically, right. And there's some people that are like that right now, and it's not even a government. That's their personality. They do not like you asking them questions. And to me, that's problematic, and that's not an inclusive leader.
Wow. Well, now I saw your flyer about the panel discussion that was on LinkedIn Live. Or is it going to be on LinkedIn?
Yes,
Live?
Tonight, actually.
Right?
Yes, tonight we're having a panel discussion about PR and intellectual property. And it's going to be on LinkedIn Live and also on my YouTube channel, which is Zakiya Mabery. And there it's definitely free to join, and we're going to have 2 attorneys and a brand guru talk about how to protect your brand. Because I don't know if you've ever had the experience, you come up with a wonderful idea and someone tries to use your exact same verbiage, your exact same
you're like, doesn't that sound like that's I promise, Zakiya, that happened to me. I sent a whole show concept to a major network.
Right.
And I didn't have my attorney send it, which is the problem. It was opened and sent back to me and said, we're already working on an idea similar. And the idea came out on a major network.
Wow.
The same color schemes, the same.
Wow.
That is every show I did. It was the exact same show.
I'm so sorry that happened.
It was actually better and bigger because it was on a grand scale, because it had all of the major
bells and whistles.
I learned a very valuable lesson. So I'm sure what you're going to be talking about is going to be extremely valuable. How important it is to protect your brand.
Right. And that's exactly what you just said is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And once I put the flyer out, people have been in my inbox talking about very similar things. A young lady hit me up and said she's been in a 2-year legal dispute because something like this has happened. Someone else said she had a website, hired someone to do her website, and then it didn't work out. And then all the ideas that she had about some classes or training, these people are now doing. And so it happens all the time, and it's very
unfortunate. And what can you do? And literally, if you haven't protected yourself in advance, then it's free game, basically.
Right.
You didn't have it properly protected. And so I've learned some very valuable things from that incident happening to me. And you don't want to be the person that goes out and talks about, hey guys, do you guys see that this is this and this is really show? You don't care about all your pity party drama after the fact. If you had the show idea, you should have got your attorney and got it done and presented properly, not just unsolicited. So I take ownership of that. You know, it's some things that you learn that you end up having to kind of bite the bullet, you know, like, you know.
Yeah.
So some good stuff. Let's go to a flash round. And what happens, Zakiya, is that the studio audience comes in, they ask questions. Sometimes they'll be brought right into the show. Let me see. I think, let me give you all the link. You know what? Because we went out, Morgan, and came back in, the link, I need you to put that link if people want to pop onto the screen with Zakiya directly. But let me, as she's pulling that link in, if you all have not subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show yet, please take a moment to do so. It is so important that I have my studio audience members subscribe on YouTube as well. That way I can track who's participating, and you can even comment. All of the different shows that you see on YouTube, many of you comment here on Facebook and different platforms here, but also pop some of your, cut and paste some of your comments and put them right over there, so it's an interactive discussion on YouTube as well. And that's the Kim Jacobs Show, and you can subscribe there. And I'll make sure I provide that link to you as well. And if you want to support the Kim Jacobs Show, the only way that we can keep all the production and everything thriving is through any type of donations that you all make. And you can do that through Cash App, and that's Kim Jacobs Inc., the $ Kim Jacobs Inc., or you can also paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. is another way to support the show. And so right now we're getting ready to go to the flash round. Post your comments and let Zakiya Mabery answer them for you. And I will pop the link in, but I don't see that link. Oh, you know, I'm just gonna cut and paste the link right here. I can see it right above, because we definitely don't want no glitches to happen around here. No more commercial breaks. That's just black screen. Okay, so there's the link if you guys want to come in and physically face-to-face talk to Zakiya. Let me go to the comments here. Oh, Shannon. Shannon said, good morning, Kim.
Hey, Shannon.
Thank you, Shannon. You're actually the person that, she's the person that referred you.
Yes.
Right? So thank you, Shannon. Keep the referrals coming. That's what I'm saying, guys. This is a real life example. I did not know Zakiya. I don't know the people that are coming on the Kim Jacobs Show. You all are funneling these great guests to make the show possible. So Shannon referred Zakiya. Thank you.
We were on the newspaper together in high school. And so we've been friends ever since then.
Oh my goodness. Oh my G. That's what I say. No, so see, I'm glad Shannon happens to watch the Kim Jacobs Show, and then I get to meet Zakiya. Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, ladies. This is my mommy. And
oh, good morning, ma'am.
She said, I'm watching. Okay, remember, guys, the resource tip that Zakiya said, call 211 in your local area if you're ever looking for resources. And what kind of resources can they get from?
Oh my goodness, they can give you resources about mental health. They can give you resources about if you need financial, like about your utility bills. It's a wealth of resources from whatever city you're in United States.
Yeah, and I know in Charlotte they have a whole lot of information. When you call 211, you can find out about food pickup, places that are delivering, COVID situations happening.
Right.
Find out you name it, it's on 211.
Right.
Check it out. LaShonda Milner Murphy, she is a fashion expert. Very professional. She knows how to work a scarf like I've never seen. I was like, how you turn that scarf? I have my scarf on just regular. By the time that lady finished wrapping a scarf, you feel like you walking off of like Black Enterprise, I said, can you help me tie all of my scarves and just let me dangle them in the closet? So
She's
LaShonda,
beautiful.
come on one day. You talked about what is your why, and that was such an important comment. So I want people to know that that was one of your important questions in talking about Representative John Lewis. What is your difference going to be? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yes.
Oh no, yes. Frank, it froze. Oh no.
Oh, hey, Frankie.
But it's back. So thank God stayed through the commercial break. Okay. Let's see. Allison Skeet, she's going to be a guest on the show soon. She says, have to toggle back and forth as I'm watching. Oh, she's toggling back and forth because she's watching.
Watching the ceremony. Okay.
I know whom I met while at inauguration of President Obama.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful memory.
Yes. We need to get comfortable with
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
That's your comment. So that's like, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so that's what I see. All right, we already put that up.
And can I invite your guest to an event that I'm having?
Yes, I'm going to make sure you get a chance. I have that typed here on August. Okay. So go ahead and do it right now. Zakiya, you a host. I can tell you.
I am a host.
You're away from nobody. I'm like, that was gonna be my last question, Zakiya.
I'm sorry.
But it's okay now. Go ahead.
It's just like doctors are the worst patients. I'm sorry.
By all means, invite them to your event. Let's go ahead and do that now. Tell them about you.
I'm sorry.
No, this is the best kind of guest because it's like we don't have to struggle to determine what are we going to say to fill in the space or anything. You're like, girl, don't forget I got to tell them about my event. So go ahead, Zakiya. Tell us.
Okay, just as we went over the five steps in the framework, we're going to cover all of that and more. We're going to go in more details with examples in my Thrive class. The Thrive class is going to be on August 26th. It's a 2-day program, and all you have to do to sign up, we have limited space. You're going to have to go to www.thethriveclass.com. Again, it's www.thethriveclass.com. And guess what? It's totally free. And we'll talk more in detail about those 5 steps and how to be an inclusive leader and be authentic in telling your story and being you.
So it's on August 26th, right? Because I didn't tell Morgan this in advance. So I want to make sure that I have it popped right here for you. It's the thriveclass.com. And I type that in, and that's where you can register for the free class. Everything that's been shared here today on the Kim Jacobs Show by Zakiya, you're going to be able to deep dive further in a class that she's offering. See, Zakiya, I do know how to promote stuff. I do know how to promote it.
Of course, you're a product of Newport News Public Schools. You got that. Yay!
That's the important part. Zakiya, I didn't even know this until earlier that Zakiya went to school in Newport News, Virginia. She actually went to my alma mater in Ferguson High School.
Yes.
So I was like,
now part of Christopher Newport. But yeah.
Newport University. Not that we love the university.
Yes.
That was our alma mater.
Yeah.
And I was a senior class president then too. I was a senior class president.
Wow. That's why you're so polished and put together and everything. Okay. All right.
Not hardly, but okay. So let's see. Make sure you guys register for her class. It's thethriveclass.com. Ask Andy, is that okay? Did I do it right? In the background, he'd be like,
he's on another call, but yes. He's like, oh no.
Sign up for Zakiya's class on August 26th. Make sure you know that is a class that's going to further break down the 5 tenets that she shared today on how important it is to have inclusion in the workplace, and regardless of disabilities or race or gender, all of those things she's going to be discussing. So make sure you register. LaShonda said, I love her spirit.
Thank you.
And she said, thank you too, LaShonda. Let's see. Go here. Sean Hall's my best friend. She said, but the show isn't on the air anymore for now. They got there. Oh, Sean. You don't know what she's talking about. This is a private
joke. Okay, inside joke. Okay.
Okay, so Sean knows what. Never mind. Sean knows what show got all of this information that was my information in every single episode.
Oh, that's good. So
And
their karma, they got their karma. That's good. I'm glad. And that's the thing about everything, Sean. When people do unethical things, fate has a way with them. Thank you for pointing that out, Sean.
OMG, I would not, Sean, no, I would not have put this comment up if I knew it because I'm not that person.
Sean's your friend and she got your back. Good job.
Mm-hmm. I gotta read, Sean, your comments before I pop them. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
She said, wow. This is good information, Sean said as well. And you have you have a YouTube channel?
Yes, the Zakiya Mabery. Yep.
Zakiya Mabery. Make sure you follow her on these. And this is Morgan typing. Everything that you see under the Balance Doctor is actually Morgan typing it for you.
And so, shout out to Morgan and do well in school and in your media.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, Morgan is only going to be with me for the rest of this week, and I'm serious. I almost had a meltdown. I was like, she's so helpful and so wonderful, and I just want to thank Morgan. I told her to come on the screen, but she's more behind the scenes right now. She can hear everything that I'm saying, and so I just want to say thank you to Morgan for being such a great, immediate, just jump right in and did a great job. Great job. I sent her a little cash app. Yeah, so she was like, well, wait, what? That was pretty nice right there. She wasn't expecting that.
That's nice.
It was a blessing. She's been a blessing to me. And what I sent her, nothing compared to what she's done already for the show. So I know she's made her family quite proud. Thank you, Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a 3-question limit. When you were talking about questions people ask and not accepting, a lot of people don't want you to ask them questions. Sean says she has a 3-question limit internally. Maybe I'm dangerous. That's funny. Amen. Lamarcus said. And then remembering the 5 things that Zakiya talked about, which is communication, empathy, empowering others, innovation, and motivation. So make sure you keep those things in mind as well. It's a lot of comments that's been coming in. What time is the LinkedIn Live event?
It's today at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, so make sure, Morgan, do we type that? Okay, make sure you know that it's this. Let me type that right quick. It's this evening at 7 p.m. on LinkedIn. And see, this one I'm have to do after Friday. Messing around, I ain't gonna have Morgan. Gosh. Okay, what's the page, Zakiya?
Yeah, just Zakiya Mabery. You go to my page and it should populate.
Okay. Join her live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is what's going to happen this evening at 7:00 p.m. Make sure you join Zakiya on live on LinkedIn, and she has someone talking about branding, so it's going to be a very robust discussion. So make sure you join her as well. Okay, I think parents can benefit from these inclusive tips too. Do you agree? Our families can be more inclusive.
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
Okay. All right, and she's going to screen my comments. Yes, for sure. I didn't even screen that one. Here I am. If I see Sean, I just put it up there. Now I'm like, anyway, what are the final kind of tips and things that you want to share with people? We have about 10 more minutes or so, and I want to make sure that if there's anything that, how you're on a show and you're like, I can't believe I didn't get a chance to talk about this. What is it that you really want people to know?
I touched on it before, but I just want to reiterate it. You have to speak positive affirmations to yourself. My mom did it as a little girl. I have a girlfriend named Roz. She's actually a therapist, so it's kind of cool having a therapist as a friend. And she's been on my show a lot. But even when I'm in my when my conditions are active. She's like, Z, are you speaking positive affirmations? And she goes into about, she does it herself and even has stickers. So I think that's very important to share with people, to have positive affirmations, even write stickers and say them to yourself. You got this, you're beautiful, you're bad. Just repeatedly speak positive into yourself. And another one that I do, recommended by my therapist, is have a gratitude journal. And at night, I think it's really good to write like three things that you're thankful for, because when you're constantly surrounded by positive energy, your outlook on things change. And so this goes into the mental health space that we're talking about. And no matter what other people are saying or doing, negative energy, no matter what's going on the world, the news, the TV, you still want your inner space, you, to have positive energy. So I didn't touch on that, and that's something that I usually like to touch on. And so I think that's quite important. And then the one other thing I would like to talk about is, when we're talking about inclusive leadership, we have to have a plan. We didn't talk also about a plan. Oh, good. LaShawn, you started journaling. It really does help, especially during this time. Right. It does. And what's even more fun about it is that when you go back, like, let's say next year, and read it, you can see your progress and how far you've come. Yeah. And it could be a moneymaker. You can make it into a book. You can, of course, maybe take out some things that you don't want shared with the world, but you can turn it into a book. So that it's also, I'm always about finding ways to monetize things in your life. Yes. So yeah, you that's another thing. But I was going to talk about we need to think about.
Before you finish, let me say that Sean is typing a comment, so I'm going to just like read it before. All right, I'll pop that on there.
Yeah. This is straight Bible. Whoever lovely, good rapture on these. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Lovely, of good rapport. Think on these things, is what she's saying.
Oh, okay, good. And when we're talking about inclusive, we're talking about change management. People think it can happen overnight. When this stuff started happening, when we first saw George Floyd be executed on live TV, of course, me being a DEI strategist, my phone started ringing. I start getting requests to come in to facilitate trainings, but I turned down some of these because people will want me just to come just talk about inclusion or just talk about this piece and that. But it is not a Band-Aid. You can't just put a Band-Aid over just to meet some requirement for your board. Right. And things of that nature. This is long term. It has to be something when you're wanting to bring me in for like a year to do a series on, not just for like one training and think that's going to work. So my point is, you need to have a fluid plan on how you're going to have a series of things, because when you're talking about attitudinal barriers and systemic racism and stereotypes and things of that nature, it's going to take time. Mm-hmm. So I would like to bring that up in addition to into investment. A lot of organizations have asked also for someone to come in, like, but we don't really have the budget for it. Well, you really don't want someone to come in either, do you? Because if you want somebody to come talk, it's going to cost, because that goes back to just like
so now you got your natural hair, and you got your 7 disabilities, and you got an attitude over there. You're like, pay or else, right? They're like,
but no, let's be real about it, because you're talking about, you want someone to come talk about Black issues, but you don't want to pay the Black person to come. Let's think about that for a minute. Does that make sense?
No.
If you want someone to come,
I keep my opinion to myself typically and let the show be the platform for you guys to share your thoughts. But in this instance, I will say that makes my grandmother said, "Tain't no need." And she owned a lot of property in her city. And literally, she's very modest woman. You wouldn't know that she had this much money. but she owned rental properties, and she was like, "Tain't no need to think you're gonna be able to bring somebody in and not pay them what they work now."
Exactly. If I was coming in to talk about safety or coming in to talk about engineering or like or whatever the other topic is, you would pay for their expertise. So why would you not pay for this expertise?
That's
You
right.
will find the money somewhere. So
That's
do
what
the
okay,
same.
guys. Seriously, if unless it's just me, you guys. Sean said exactly. You have to know your worth. Oh,
Right.
she also said, "Y'all don't do me like that," because we were saying we're gonna contemplate putting her comments up. So, but what I will say is that, listen, guys, if you all are enjoying these type of shows, which I know, you know how you know there's some shows with some good stuff. It's like
Right.
information that's coming on the Kim Jacobs show. I'm not saying it only because I'm Kim Jacobs. Maybe I'm saying it because I'm Kim Jacobs. But anyway, the shows that's coming here on this platform are incredible information, great learning experiences. So I'm encouraging you to please make sure you share this with everybody. We all have friends and family and different circles that we run with. Share the Kim Jacobs show so people can hear these episodes. This is some great stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to plug that. Shannon said, "I love this. I just love this." And Shonda said that she really appreciates your idea of gratitude journaling and making it a book. So this is some good stuff. Okay, well, I don't even know anything else to say except for I've truly been honored having you as my guest today.
And I've been honored to be here, and I would love to have you on my Game Changer Chat show anytime.
Oh, I will be honored to do it. Just let me know what date. Hopefully, we don't have a blackout commercial. You know, people are putting a little screen where it be black only because they're just trying to make a statement about supporting black stuff.
Yeah.
That was not what was happening on the Kim Jacobs show today. What happened?
Okay.
A real blackout for real. It had to go completely out and come back in. I
Kim,
am.
you have beautiful energy.
Oh, thank you, and you are too. That's why I vibe so well with you. And I didn't even.
Yes.
But now after today, only with Andy's permission, we can connect some more in the future because I absolutely love your spirit. Love
Thank
it.
you.
Okay. Sean said, and if you have some college students that need an internship opportunity, Kim can provide that opportunity.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's Sean's funny. She's like, I told you. And she knows like a lot of stuff about me. So she's like, what? Okay, Sean got my back, y'all. Okay. Sean is saying for me to make the announcement that after this Friday, I won't have Morgan. But if there is somebody that knows that you would like to be behind the scenes and helping type the comments and doing some work with the Kim Jacobs show on a volunteer basis, I greatly appreciate it. Every once in a while, maybe to get you lunch or some other things, depending upon how people support the show. Okay, I could possibly pay you, but I got to make sure I get the funds from people supporting the Kim Jacobs show. So make sure you know that we are looking for production, graphic design artists, and just email me, kim@thebalancedoctor.tv. All right, Zakiya, you are awesome.
Thank you, as are you. But thank you so much. And your viewers have been wonderful. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, so guys, listen, there you have it. The Kim Jacobs show. We're getting ready to sign out. I'm trying to do the show directly between 11 and 12 every day, and so that way you'll know. Tomorrow is Freestyle Friday. Go ahead and send your comments to me so that I know what to talk about tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. It's Freestyle Friday. It's all about you. Whatever you want to talk about, that's what we're going to discuss. See you tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Bye bye, Zakiya.
Bye, everyone.
And God bless you. Talk